ready to go with another happy hour. Todd Callis. It's all guys tonight. No Julia. Julia's normally the moderator. We got Blummer, Robert Ford, Sparky. Guys, cheers. How you doing?
Cheers. She finally got sick of us and quit.
I think the problem with Julia is that she can't drink during these because she's pregnant, so she's out.
She's like, I'm out.
Yeah, non-alcoholic beer just doesn't work as well. But guys, some news today, finally.
Yeah.
Good news. Let's hope that there's a settlement soon. We might have baseball on the horizon.
How about that? Huh? How about Rob Manfred and Tony Clark talking face to face? I mean, I understand there's social distancing right now, but it's amazing that it's taken so long for this to happen. Like you said, Blummer, what a concept.
What's crazy to me is that, we kind of joked about it before we came on here. It's like, what took so long? Why does it have to go the way it goes before you realize, hey, I think maybe we should sit down and have a conversation. What do you think? And all of a sudden it sounds like things are moving in the right direction. So hopefully it is a good sign.
Yeah, it feels great to be optimistic at this point. It reminds me exactly of 1995 when things looked as bad as they could get. And I think we could probably all say within the last day or two, it's gotten as bad as we thought it could get, especially as late in the games it is. All of a sudden something happens, and it's exactly the way it happened in 1995. Now it's just going to be, man, it's a big, long journey to kind of recover, as far as PR goes.
Yeah, speaking of PR, I don't know who came up with it on the MLBPA side, but the when and where movement was beautiful. That was all. It's like, just tell us, we'll show up, and it put the onus back on the owners.
Yeah, totally. It totally just kind of flipped the script where it made it clear that the players are just like, all right, let's go, let's figure this out. And I know you guys all know this. I mean, you look at what there were, and I mean, this isn't technically a work stoppage, obviously, it's a little different. But when you think about all the work stoppages there have been in Major League Baseball history, if you look at the coverage of all of them are very pro-owner. I think this is the first time when there's been something like this, when the sentiment has been more pro-player. And I think it's because of things like that, the tell us when and where, and the proposals that the players have released according to reports that have more games than some of the proposals that the owners have released according to reports. So, I mean, it's encouraging. I mean, and that's what these guys do. They play baseball, and they want to continue to play baseball. So they want to play as many games as they can, regardless of what restrictions there might be because of what's going on with the pandemic.
I think it was genius because in this day and age of trolling, as they like to call it, as the kids call it, that was the ultimate troll job by saying when and where. Because like TK said, it just kind of pushed them into the corner and said, okay, this is on you. We are ready. You won't listen to us. So we'll just go ahead and play under your rules. And it just kind of put them in that situation. It's been very interesting to watch the way it's been negotiated because, Sparky knows, you're on these phone calls and things like that, but to actually have it in the public arena is what's really shocked me the most.
We're optimistic right now, but man, is it contentious right now? And just think to December 1st of 2021 when the CBA expires, with all this back and forth going on now. So I'm hoping, once they get a deal that maybe they can just get behind closed doors, take a deep breath in a couple of months and maybe start to, try to get something done before it gets to anything close to this again.
Yeah, you want them talking to each other, not talking at each other.
Yeah,
and that's what we've been getting a lot of, the talking at each other. But now knowing they're talking to each other, that's encouraging.
I think December 1, 2021, we'll use these as our chasers and get some hard shots going because it's going to get ugly.
There's just going to be stacked cans in front of us. Right?
When and where? When and where?
Yeah, who's coming up with the when and where ale?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that it's going to be 100% of the Major League Baseball Players Association that's going to play? Do you think there's a chance that somebody might say, hey, I'm not comfortable for whatever reason?
Yeah, I don't know enough about everybody, but I know that there's a handful of guys. Who was it? Carrasco. Yeah, Carrasco had leukemia. And then you start to dig a little bit deeper too. I mean, there might be some family members that might be endangered if guys go out there and expose themselves a little bit. So I think there are going to be some. It's not going to be 100%. I don't think. No.
Did you guys see what Martin Maldonado just tweeted not too long ago?
I've had this question for a long time, and Machete asked a great question.
So what happens if we contract the virus on the road? How do we get back home?
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Good question.
You better hope it's a nice hotel.
I think I saw something like every city's going to have some place set aside for quarantine, basically, where guys are going to have a place to go. It might be at a local college or something like that, but they'll have a place to go, but they're going to be separated from their families.
Could you imagine? That would be awful. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And, Blummer, to your point about players with family members with conditions, I know Sean Doolittle, reliever, has said that his wife has respiratory issues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he didn't say he wasn't right. He didn't say he wasn't going to play, but I'm just saying that's an example of, this can affect family members as well. And that's something you have to keep in mind if they're high risk also. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I agree with you guys. Most guys are going to play, but it's going to be interesting to see who doesn't, because there definitely, you would think, would be at least a handful.
Yeah.
So what's it look like? 48 games within the division, and we don't know what the total number is, but if you get 48 within the division, then you've got at least 6 home, 6 away with every team in the AL West. Is that what you guys are thinking? And whatever that number comes out to be, the rest is on the NL side?
I mean, that sounds pretty reasonable. I mean, it'll certainly be an unbalanced schedule, to say the least. It's the best you can hope for at this point, because obviously you want to minimize travel. You want to keep teams in their general areas because of everything that's going on. And you want to make it relatively easy to complete a schedule by keeping travel to a minimum as much as you can. Of course, the Astros and the Rangers too are kind of hamstrung being in the AL West, and it's the only division that's across 3 time zones. So that makes it trickier, but still, it's going to be a lot easier knowing that we're always, the Astros, and not us probably, because we'll probably be broadcasting road games from Houston, but the players will be going west whenever they have to go on the road, and won't have to worry about anything else.
I think even in a shortened season, it's even more important to play your division more to figure out who's the best team in the division.
That's a very good point. And I also, too, think with the expanded playoffs that they're talking about, that may mitigate the fact that some of these, that you don't have the interdivisional stuff, because it sounds like there are going to be more teams in the postseason potentially. So I think that'll work itself out.
So for those of who have followed us along week to week on these happy hours, that Sparky is the last one of us, Robert excluded, obviously, to get a haircut. And Sparky, it's looking good. You found a Floby?
I did find a Floby. Hey man, those things are expensive, man.
Are they?
It. Yeah, was that $150?
I don't want to know how you know that.
I've investigated. I've done a lot of
investigating. Bill Brown used to have one.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
No, that explains everything.
So as soon as I got that information from him, man, I had to ask him about 150 questions, and he just rolled with it, man. He was all proud of it.
What did he learn?
Huh?
What did he learn?
You know what? He learned that it was more party in the back with that thing. It got pretty good with everything that he could see in the mirror, but the stuff in the back, he said it remained a party.
Oh my gosh! Did he do it to himself, or did he have Diane back there trying to clean it up the edges?
No, he did it. He did it himself.
Oh my gosh! This is so great. The legend grows.
I know.
We never do this.
Now I'm imagining Brownie like on the road somewhere in like a hotel room in LA or San Francisco, and I need a trim, and just breaking that thing out at in the hotel bathroom. This is by the way universal sign language for Floby, by the way, in case you're wondering.
He's calling the housekeeper. Hey, could you send a vacuum up? I got to give myself a haircut. I need a trim. It's getting a little rough.
Oh,
I so wish
Brownie was on here. I wish Brownie was on here to defend himself.
See, I'm kind of glad he's not.
Oh, I know. It makes it speculation is so much more fun.
So early in the week, there's no news happening. And Sparky, we've got a good story about Blummer and the Magic Golf Ball we'll get to later. But Blummer and I are you got it with you? Props. There's a story behind that golf
ball.
One. Oh, wait. Wait for it. That's like a teaser. It's a teaser.
Oh, there.
there's nothing happening on the labor front Monday. We're playing golf, but there was another story going on, Blummer, and that was kind of what's going on with the MLB and the Yankees and the sealed letter. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm so shocked.
Yeah.
You know, as Pepper told Cotton in Dodgeball, I feel shocked. I mean,
if that's the case, I understand why Rob Manfred got on a plane and went to Arizona today.
Okay, yeah. Stop looking over here at the letter that I sent to the Yankees. Let's talk about the negotiation right now and get this thing settled, man.
Heck yeah.
Yankees might be not so. That glass house got. They need to clean the glass on there a little bit more. It's been interesting to hear.
You know what I think is interesting? So, with the way these investigations work, whenever Major League Baseball does it, part of the whole deal is that there's going to be confidentiality and all of those things. And I get that. And if you're Major League Baseball, you can obviously say, and they're well within their right, that, hey, this is confidential. We promised teams confidentiality when we investigated these things. We don't think it should be released. But if it's nothing, then just put it out there. If it's nothing that is not already public, then what do you have to lose? So, I mean, the longer that this stays under seal, the more intrigue there is and the more questions there'll be about Major League Baseball's transparency with these investigations. And there are already questions about that. So I think it would do Major League Baseball some good to just release it, especially if there's nothing in there that we don't already know. Because, again, there are all these questions as it is. And I know a lot of Astros fans have questions about Major League Baseball's transparency with some of these investigations. So I'm really curious to see what this is all about.
Well, yeah, Manfred jumping in on that is what kind of really set it off for me. I was like, wait a minute, what? Sorry, Sparky.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, misery loves company. So if you're an Astros fan or even us, we would love for the Yankees just to get blasted, right? But I've known forever that everybody's trying to cheat. I've known this before I got into professional baseball. Everybody tries to cheat. And I know for a fact that there is way more teams than got these, even the slaps on the wrist than outside of the Astros. And I think 10 years down the road, we're going to know a lot more about a lot more teams.
That's going to be a good ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah.
It'll probably get higher ratings than the McGuire and Sosa.
Yeah.
Hey, so Sparky and Blummer, you guys both were. Blummer was nodding his head when you guys said, "I've known forever that guys cheat." I mean, there's different ways. When you're on the field, it's one way to steal signs. But you guys played through the steroid era. I assume that's what you were referring to earlier. And now with the new methods with replay rooms being right near the dugouts, it opens up Pandora's box. So
it was convenient.
Oh yeah,
it was convenient, and
if
there's rumors that other teams are doing it, or if you're paranoid that other teams are doing it, then it's only natural for you to try to keep pace, to try to keep everything in playing field. I think that's why this steroid era grew to its depths, because everybody was trying to keep pace with everybody else.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah, that perception that everybody else is doing it, so you have to do it to keep up with the Joneses.
The herd mentality, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you're right. Misery loves company, and it was miserable on Astros social media sites for a long time. And then once things flipped, it was like all the players were right out front on Twitter. I thought it was pretty amusing.
It's like they're right there with the fans, right?
Yeah.
That's what I like about this team, though. It's that type of personality and that kind of like swagger that these guys, they're not afraid. Like, okay, now it's coming out, and they're going to put it out there. And I love that about them. It's funny.
So our last happy hour, we had James click on right before the draft, and now the draft has taken place. First true step forward for James in terms of his responsibilities as a GM. He's had a few things before that, but that was a big moment for him and his staff. What did you guys, 4 picks, high school kid and the rest college kids. What do you guys think of the draft this year?
Well, I like that there's another person from the Bronx in the organization. That's what I'm excited about. With Alex Santos, the second round pick, the comp pick that they got for losing Garrett Cole in free agency. Yeah, Mount St. Michael Academy, the high school that Santos went to is about a 20-minute drive from where I grew up in the Bronx. It's actually right there on the northern New York City line, bordering Westchester County. And I actually knew kids who went there back in the day, and it was kind of cool reading up on him and reading about how he would work out in Van Cortlandt Park. Like I could walk to Van Cortlandt Park from where I grew up. We used to play baseball and touch football there when I was a kid. So it's kind of neat for me personally to know that this is somebody who is from my neck of the woods. And then obviously seeing some of the video of him and the other draft picks, that just gets you that much more excited.
I love the way he let the ball go. You know, mechanics look great. It looked like he was going to be able, I mean, his shoulders were wide. It looks like he's going to be able to fill out and kind of be a horse. But man, I can't believe so many guys throw as hard as they do these days. There was a kid that posted 104 miles per hour in a bullpen session that went in the third round.
How many kids did you guys play with? How many pitchers did you guys face in high school that threw 90 and 95?
So that's the thing. I mean, the Santos kid, I mean, he throws as hard as Rich Gossage, right?
yeah. Already, yes.
So funny. But his delivery looks really clean. I thought they did great, man. I love the two pitchers at the top. What did you think about the third and fourth picks for the Astros, Blummer?
I like athletes, and I think that's kind of what the Astros have been doing. I know that, the numbers don't jump, but the ability and the athleticism of some of these guys is what's impressive to me. And I really feel like they did their homework. Click and Pete Putell and these guys are kind of, they didn't have they're trying to teach Click about the big league team and about the entire organization. And, oh, by the way, you've got to go out and draft only 4 guys in there. So I think they did a great job in investigating and scouting and getting their eyes on these guys. But I can't remember the guy's name from Tennessee.
Zach Daniels.
Zach Daniels.
Yeah.
Zach Daniels.
Yeah. The numbers don't say he jumps off the page and said, this is who we're going to go out and get. But you also watch the way, Sparky talked about the delivery of Santos and how he sees the ball come out of his hand, and you can see things in swings. You can see hand speed, or you can see some of the, the way their body moves around.
What did Daniels remind you of?
Nothing really jumped off the page.
You remind me of Springer a little bit.
But did he switch hit or hit left? He's just left-handed, right?
Left-handed.
Right-handed.
No, he was a left-handed hitter from Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, left-handed hitter.
Yeah. I mean, he could be, but I was just the athleticism. So that's exactly what Springer brings to the table, is the ability to go out there and kind of overwhelm the game, even if he doesn't have like that sixth sense or that baseball savvy, so to speak, because they have that ability physically to overwhelm the game. And once he gets in the organization, we know how well the Astros develop, that guy is only going to get better.
And, the thing that encouraged me about Zach Daniels, like you guys, saw the numbers his first 2 years at Tennessee, weren't that great. Just a partial season this year before things got shut down and numbers were better. Chandler Rome in the Houston Chronicle had a really good story about, talk to his college coach at Tennessee and talk to other people who knew him. And the thing that I liked about it, because his college coach was pretty candid about the fact that, he was pretty raw and he had a lot to learn about baseball and about playing at that level when he first got there. But despite all that, it sounded like they never questioned his work ethic and they never questioned his character. So to me, that's encouraging. Even while this kid was struggling and trying to figure things out, apparently the work ethic was still there, and they still feel like he's a good character guy. So to me, that's encouraging, and that means that there's more in there. And not only is there more in there, but that he's more likely to tap into it than maybe somebody else.
Hey, TK, how do you, as a professional organization, get a guy? I think the Astros' last pick, and it was the 160th pick of that draft, 5th round. I think the slot money was $411,000 or something like that. The next guy gets 20.
How about
161st pick gets 20. And every other pick after that gets 20. How do you convince a guy to sign for that?
For 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Astros have.
Everybody has.
The Astros have found a few guys, but Shea Whitcomb was the last pick of this year's draft, 5-round draft. Astros had picks in the compensatory round, then round 2, and then rounds 3, 4, and 5. So yeah, they end up with a kid who played Division II baseball at UC San Diego. And you guys mentioned the 2 and 3rd and 4th round picks, rivals, right? Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Zach Daniels out of Tennessee, and Tyler Brown, the closer, out of Vanderbilt. Those guys have had experience on the Cape. At least Zach did. Shea Whitcomb, I know
No, I did
Leonard's on
not.
the Cape. Sparky, do you? Okay, so Shea Whitcomb, he shows up, Division II kid, and he killed it, like a 976 OPS at the Cape. So now all of a sudden, Division II kid's like, I can play with the big boys, and here he is an Astro, or hopefully he will be soon.
And that's the beauty of those summer leagues, is because they actually supply the wood bats for those guys. And even when I was, I went back and watched, called that series up in Bryan, Texas for that collegiate summer baseball classic. You put a wood bat in a college player's hands, you get a real quick and real good idea if, number one, if they've been swinging it, if they understand how to use it. But it forces a collegiate hitter who's, had a sweet spot of maybe about 3 feet, narrow it down to about 6 or 7 inches on a barrel. And if they can figure out how to get the barrel to it, that kind of speaks volumes. So that's what's great about Shea, is that he's able to go out there and prove himself against, he's facing top tier Division I pitching in the Cape Cod League, and he's barreling them up and getting hits. But you start getting over 900 in your OPS, everybody starts looking around and trying to pull out their phone going, who's this guy again? And you're going to turn some heads.
He worked out in Southern California at Chucky and Robert Fick's little academy out there. So he's had some guys in his back corner.
And, I'm really intrigued too.
I'm just so happy Robert Fick made our happy hour.
We just had a flashback to 2004. Cheers, TK.
I'm intrigued by Tyler Brown, the closer at Vanderbilt, the 3rd round pick. And the reason he became a reliever at Vanderbilt was he got hurt. I believe it was at the end of high school. He got hurt. He had been a starter all through high school. And then because of his injury, they decided to move him to the bullpen. But the Astros feel like he can start. So now that he's a few years removed from his injury, hopefully that's behind him and that's not as big of a concern. But I'm always intrigued by guys like that, get a chance now to get some more innings, and maybe he does wind up a reliever in the long run. But it's nice that he has it in his back pocket. But I like that the Astros are going to try and develop him as a starter first.
I like the fact that he's coming into professional baseball very mature. He had a baby as a freshman in college who has Down syndrome. Also had a mother who died when he was 13 years old, basically in his arms. So he's been through a lot already. So he's on a mission.
After those draft picks, Sparky, we kind of touched on this Sunday in a podcast. You didn't think a lot of guys might sign for $20,000. Are you surprised what's going on?
Well, once I started to think about it, then I started thinking, you know what? You get a phone call after a little bit of disappointment, and somebody starts to woo you. It's like in college. If you get recruited, you like to feel wanted. And if somebody can point out some things to you, like they feel like you do some things that they appreciate, and they feel like they can do, help you develop your spin rate or your launch angle, do whatever to get you to the big leagues. When you hear the big leagues and somebody talks about how they feel like they can get you to the big leagues, I think that can sway a lot of people.
Go ahead.
And don't you think too, guys, that this is where scouts having relationships with players really helps in these situations with these undrafted guys?
Man, I come away so impressed with Jim Stevenson every year.
He
covers Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Northern Texas, and in a few of those states. But man, he comes through with some big time guys for the Astros organization. He does it every year.
The 5 rounds is very interesting to me because, you couldn't have predicted this when guys were freshmen in college. So I know, in talking to some of the college coaches that I've been around and had the opportunity to talk to, is that they've had some tough conversations with guys who were expected to get drafted in, the 5th through the 10th rounds and leave school and open up a spot for freshmen who are coming in. And they're seniors who are getting their eligibility back. And I know that coaches are calling some of these guys going, hey, I think it's great that you have the opportunity to come back, but you're not going to have a spot. We planned on filling your spot with a freshman who's coming in, and you're going to be on the team, but you're not going to get the playing time. So I think that's where, the relationship that Robert's talking about is that scout has to understand the position the player's in and be able to have that relationship, to have that honest talk with them. But again, if you start dangling that carrot, of pro baseball out there, guys are going to jump at it. And I think it's kind of interesting too, where after the 5th round, if you're a free agent and you're getting phone calls from the Diamondbacks, the Royals, the Marlins, you get to pick where you want to go now.
Right.
So you can find an organization that maybe you feel you fit better in and have the opportunity to maybe get rushed to the big leagues if you're playing well enough.
One last thing about that, think about relationships. Think about the relationships that these scouts might have with these college coaches or high school coaches who know those situations too.
Get that information.
To kind of have a heads up.
Yeah, very interesting. And all these guys' fathers, I actually have my stepdaughter in town for the weekend. Father's Day's coming up Sunday. Some people play golf on Father's Day. Lummer had Sparky. You played enough golf with Lummer and myself to know that birdies with us are few and far between. So we get to the 17th,
and that's because you guys get eagles, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're more Eagles guys, on and 2 and a putt on a par 5. But so Blummer, I'll let you take it away. You get onto the tee on 17, and for some reason you break out a new golf ball.
I have been playing reasonably better, but I've narrowed it down. Instead of having like 3 blow-up holes, I usually have 1 or 2 now. And I had a destructive hole about the 15th, and one where I just kind of pick up and watch guys putt out. And I reach into my bag, and I don't know where. I don't purchase soccer golf balls. I don't know. I mean, what is this? And I reach in and I pull this thing out, and I'm going, where in God's name did this thing come from? And I'm like, screw it. The last shot sucked. I'm going to hit this.
Did your daughter put it in there?
Somebody must have. You may have put it in my bag for all I know. So I tee this thing up, and we're on this 17th tee, and there's water on the right, winds in our face, and I wham right down the middle. I'm like, oh man, that felt pretty good off the club.
Sparky, this is at Memorial. This is at Memorial Park, 17, with water on the right.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's inside. He's like 75 yards out off his drive. It's unbelievable.
And I walk up and I take out my little rangefinder. I'm like, what? I'm like, why does it say 70? I'm like, I must be zapping like the front of the green or, in front of me. And I'm like, well, all right. And I pull out, like a 56, which I never hit. It lands 3 feet from the pin.
No kidding.
The buddy, TK and one of the guys I was playing with, they pick it up and throw it at me. I didn't even have to putt it. So I'm like, sweet, this is great. I go to the 18th tee. We're finishing up. I'm feeling great. I kind of hook one, and it goes over there towards the range on the left-hand side, and I'm like, man, I'm in the junk. And I get up there, and I'm about 170 out. TK's just up off to the right, closer to the fairway, and I smoke this thing. And it's just up there in all of its glory, just gliding into the wind. I'm going, man, that felt pretty good. And I see it hit the green, and it stayed. I was like, dude, on the green? This is awesome. So I'm like, and I'm walking up there. I'm like, I got my strut going. All 4 of us end up on the green, which is a great way to finish too, by the way. If you're having a great round. Yeah. Everybody's on in 2. Everybody else putts out, and I'm waiting because I was maybe the farthest guy away. I'm not sure if I remember.
You were. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm staring down this putt, and I'm going, man, this feels kind of straight. So I get over it, and the greens are rolling pretty quick, and I just give it a little, and I'm watching this thing just go.
No kidding.
And I was
2
like,
under.
And I'm like, this ball is 2 under, and now I'm in my office, and I told TK when I got off the green, I go, this will never be played again. This is
you're not going to play it again?
Hell no.
That's your Wonder Boy right there.
Yeah, this
is what this story reminds me of?
Savoy right here, man.
This story reminds me of the MLB negotiations. The 16th hole was yesterday. The 17th hole was today. And the 18th hole will be tomorrow. We're going to get a deal tomorrow.
Well together.
That's
I
it.
like it.
That's
it. And it's good for everybody.
Hopefully Tony Clark and Rob Manfred are both wearing red like Tiger Woods, right?
Well,
yeah.
There's something else you can book. The next time I'm at your house, I'm stealing that ball.
Oh. A magic ball is 2 under. There's no way you can touch
That's
it.
crazy.
There ain't no way, baby. This thing.
Hey, so Father's Day, I don't know what you guys have planned, but if people are still trying to figure out what to do for Father's Day, the good news is as we get closer to baseball games being played, the team store opened up.
It's open up.
Yeah, Union Station team store. So if you've thought about, like, I don't even know what I can get Dad because everything's closed, you can go to the team store right now down at Minute Maid Park and get your gear.
It's a great store, you know, and they've got great product and they do a great job. I think they do better than anybody else in the big league. So get your gear, man.
Yeah, and the Astros uniform was voted one of the best uniforms in baseball. I mean, if not the best. And, you know, what an opportunity. We're going to have hopefully an announcement before Father's Day where they say, let's play some ball. Dad's going to need some gear, some fresh new gear.
Absolutely.
Ride that momentum.
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to get something soon. I've got a daughter that lives about 5 blocks from the stadium. I'm going to have her get me something.
Do they have any of these in Astros colors?
Is that 2 under? Is that 2 under?
Man, you see how low this
So you know Blummer's going to get like 3 dozen, actually 4 dozen of those soccer ball golf balls. Bye. Corey too.
Dude, I think every woman in my family has bought me a box of those golf balls now because I came home with the permagrin. I couldn't get rid of it.
Great.
Hey,
You're getting better.
Way, Sparky, once you get a chance to go out to Memorial Park, that course is in good shape right now. It's really sweet.
So I haven't been there since they reopened it, and we got to play it that first day. So it's even better because I was super surprised that it was as awesome as it was then. So it's getting better and better, huh?
Yeah, and they're starting to build those tees for the pros that are back and back and back, so you can see how different it is going to be.
Someday let's go out there and play the tips.
Yeah, that'll be Robert's first round.
First time I ever golf. Let's play for the tips. Absolutely, I'm down.
Guys, this is so much fun. I know we're. I keep saying this, so I'm reluctant to say it, but I feel like the next time we do this, we will have some news. We will have some news.
We will.
So, final thoughts. We'll go around, I guess, in alphabetical order. So, final thoughts, Blummer, as we get ready for Father's Day and hopefully some good news from baseball.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. But at the same time, the greatest gift would be able to get back to work. I know that we're all chomping at the bit. And if you watch these podcasts or these happy hours, you know that we do enjoy being around each other. And I think we're finally to the point where we need to see each other. I think we need to be around the game. We need to compare notes. And we need to get some of that adrenaline back that we get when we're calling games because it is a lot of fun. And we know the country needs it right now, but I'm hopeful, and I haven't been hopeful in a long time. And I know that's kind of crazy to talk about. And in our small pocket of the world, that means a lot right now as far as getting the game out there. So it would really please me to know that next time we talk, it could possibly be about when we start this thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. How great is it to have a job, by the way, that you look forward to going back to? Right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So that's a blessing in and of itself. By the way, congratulations to Blummer, TK, and Julia Morales. The Athletic, they did their TV broadcaster survey of all 30 Major League Baseball television broadcast teams, and fans can vote from the different teams on. And there's I think a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best on the field reporters, the play-by-play guy, the color commentator, graphics, all those things. And Astros TV finished 5th out of 30.
Top 5.
I mean, that is a credit to not just Blummer, TK, and Julia, but also, as we all know, all the people behind the scenes that are responsible for it. So congratulations to you guys. I was really glad to see that. I mean, I know how good you are, and I'm glad that other people recognize it.
Thank you.
Well said.
Yeah, but it speaks to what you just said. We love our job. We love showing up, and if we got great people around us, we're going to be that much better.
And I'll kind of leave it with this, TK, as far as my thoughts is hopefully that fans don't ever let the business side of baseball sour their taste for a beautiful game. And think about the great times you've had watching or playing, or the conversations you've got to spend with your kids at the ball game, or just being entertained by Todd and Jeff and enjoy it, just whatever it may be. It's a beautiful game, and enjoy it for what it is, because sometimes the business side can look a little muddy, but man, down to its core, it's a beautiful game. So just don't give up on it.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Very
And
well said.
Robert, thanks for the shout out. For sure, Carl Patterson and Micah Guccione and Jerry Blancas, Paul Bykowski, our director. Those guys are what make us look good. And we're missing one person today, and she got voted the best field reporter in all of baseball. So congrats to Julia Morales. And she'll be carrying us again next week. Yeah, well deserved. So guys, it was a lot of fun. Until next time when Julia's running the show again, cheers, and we'll see you next week.